So, this is Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and having completed Corrosion of War Without End, knowing this is probably at least 2 or 3 more weeks of the lockdown thing going on, why not do more of them? At least a couple more of them. So, yeah, we have down the pike here 3 ready scripts to shoot, and there are others that are slightly off the pike that we don't need to do yet. 3 of them. 2 of them are by author Ivy Bon Lin, and the other is by author Bob B. Carruthers. They are. We have. Let's see. What's this one? We have. These were ones from the 2003 magazine too. So they were approved in 2003. Yeah, this is Transitions. Bobby Carruthers, Transitions. We couldn't originally. This wasn't not originally in the translated list. It was in the archive, but it was not one of the others translated in the list. And although we mentioned transitions, and it was all like transitions would be cool to do, and then we were like, oh, we have to do. That's the Springer one, Springer and RC one. That's the one where he has a dream. He gets injured and he has this sort of a flashback to his life kind of thing going on. But it's been altered by this alien planet they go to called the Wrath Planet. And apparently they've decided in the UK comic books that the Wreckers have a Wrath Planet and they go there and they do stuff. And he gets injured and he imagines Megatron and Prime fighting, and then he imagines himself getting the Matrix. Just because the author really likes Springer. There's more to it than that, though. Our Carta characters can return in it because they fit in there really well as some of the characters. And we just changed the names to the Carta ones so they fit. Also, there's a few of them that totally fit in there. Even more so with some of the later ones, but especially this one. So, yeah. So then we come to the... What's this one? The second one. This is Redemption. Ivy Bon Lin's Redemption. And it is a sort of pseudo time travel alternate universe story. Featuring an evil version of Skylynx. But in this version, because we've introduced the giant ship Transformer Regis Maximus, it's Regis Maximus instead. It's Carta version. Because why would Skylynx do that? But Regis Maximus totally would. So yeah, that's that could totally work. So there were some changes already in the works for this. So we're supposed to be doing other stuff. We're supposed to be doing Star Trek parody stuff, but Transformer stuff seemed more fun and reasonable. So we've got the last one here. This is Ivy Bon Lin story. It was submitted as a 2003 as well in the MUSH. And here we have a slightly smaller one than the other two, but only slightly. We have Transformers Underground Saga, also Ivy Bon Lin. And all of them now include Windblade. They didn't all originally. They should. And Windblade or Night Racer, or both, who have been imparted into the story. What's interesting about Windblade and Night Racer from the fan film stuff perspective is that they are fan characters that were created for the Transformers. The Night Racer was earlier during the BotCon contest, 98. Raksha was among the fans that inspired the creators to make the G1 Bumblebee blue, purple. He was actually blue and gold, and sometimes blue and black. It looked like Bumblebee. The stealth Bumblebee from the Michael Bay movies is basically Night Racer. Basically Night Racer. They just don't know that's what it is. In the new Bumblebee series, there was a Shatter, and the other one was basically Night Racer. The other Decepticon lady, basically Night Racer. Yeah, Kickback or whatever. Yeah, they gave her the Carta name from the Carta, but she was Dropkick. She was actually Night Racer. Should have just called her that. But then we have the third one, Underground. They all kind of have Springer in them. They like Springer. We did introduce Springer. We forgot about all kinds of other Underground, female Autobots campaign on the planet. It's not really a dream. It's an adventure. Yeah. So yeah, the Springer one's not really technically a dream. What's kind of going on is they go into this weird planet, the Wrath planet, and they find this thing that's aliens fucking with their heads, basically. And we kind of hinted at that in the Corrosion story. There's all of these Mush stories have built to the inevitable conclusion. There's several in the pike that we could do, but there's some that we should do first. The last one will be Stranded, which is the Robotech one, which is Christopher Meadows. I think he's dead. So elements of that story were put in the Shadow Children, Robotech Shadow Children already. So elements of that were in there, and it was listed in the credits as a inspired by this person's Mush story. We've already kind of done that, and we already show the out of time G1 Night Racer / Stealth Bumblebee in Corrosion. So apparently she's on the bridge of the Maxis ship as the other Night Racer. They haven't met the blue one from the earlier stories, or they haven't technically. They didn't talk when they met each other at the end of Corrosion. So it's unknown whether they talked or not. So this is pretty much very preliminary, very early stages of what we could do with the other episodes. These are a 2-parter, a 3-parter, and a 2-parter, basically. The 3-parter, I think, is the middle one. That one was they're both going to be 2 of them are going to be Jane Piedmont is going to direct, and MC Kim is going to direct one of them. I'm not sure what 2 they're directing the pipe, but they will direct. So we'll see how that works. Also, not as much film footage will be used. The Springer one mainly is in one section of an alien building, basically flashing back to weird stuff going on. The others are a little more moving around. But we'll see. The Transitions is the one with the alien building. We don't see much of our original cast, but they do show up. This latest one that's up on the screen now is a different one. It's an unusual one about the Quintessons, which I still have to work on. That I have to change into the Carta, because it's about the Carta. It's about the Carta Council and the Carta, and it's not in the past, in the distant past. That one's going to be different. So sort of the Genesis Fading Memories one. That one's going to be a little different than some of the names have been drastically changed. The story isn't, but the names have been changed because we wanted to have it be about the Carta and not about his characters from the Quintesson era. Let's see about the Carta. We're going to go to that. In that one, we go to the Liege Maximo and Liege Centurio. We get to see what they're doing, because we haven't done that. So we figured, why not make that story? And that story's way off. It's far out. It's going to be the 4th one. That one's pretty far out, because that one's the Liege Maximo story, basically, and how the Carta come to be in their universe. And so the Carta, they're sort of the wreckers, basically. But before, there's a lot of cross-pollination. The Mush stuff came out in the 90s when there was not as many Transformers stories. Beast Wars had started in 96, so the Mush thing was 97, 98, somewhere around there. And they were going after the G1 stuff a lot and the G2 stuff. There's a lot of Beast Wars stuff in here in this archive, and I have a lot of Beast Wars figures, but they tend to fall apart, and they're in pretty bad shape. been played with. We're not going to do any Beast Wars this season. Just, there's going to be like hints of them here and there, but I don't think there's any room for them this season. Next season, maybe we'll do some Beast Wars. There won't be as many long ones next season, just because there'll be a lot of shorter ones. Because we're going to do the long ones first. Because the long ones are better written because they spent more time on story development, character development, what they were doing, editing, proofreading it, and they flow better than the shorter ones, which are just kind of experimental. The first one that this transitions was extremely experimental, and is a character study, but it has enough dialogue in it between Springer and RC that it works as a story. So I think it should be good. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe if we get through one or two, that's fine. But yeah, but I don't want to like rush into like do 50 of them and then be able to finish 50 of them. If it's just these three, it's a great ending. But if there's more, that's awesome. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that there's more of them. So yeah, the series is greenlit series in addition to Corrosion. We're gonna do the rest of the MUSH series that were put in that 2003 book. Even Insecticons is in there, which is amazing that we left a weird version of the Insecticons in there. It's probably going to get Carta-ized and changed to Carta kind of thing. Yeah, so. Yeah, the Carta thing was my own version of the characters. I kept some of their characters in there. Like the Springer one, Chaz is in there. Somebody else's character. Yeah, Night Racer's someone else's character too. But yeah, as you know, Transmetal Dinobot, that's Kal Kat. Somebody else got the credit, but it was. So, also Dropkick from the Bumblebee movie. Yeah, that's a Kal Kat thing too. So yeah, totally. But yeah, she gets her butt kicked by Bumblebee. But yeah, well, I had nothing to do with the Bumblebee movie, but that character of Dropkick is right out of the Carta. I'm surprised she hasn't showed up in any of these yet. Maybe she should. But yeah, I think she would, maybe. Yeah, so the 90s, most of these stories are from the late 90s, so yeah, that way they can get away with all kinds of things. They'll get their credits and their name. The name will be on each name will be in the credits. They get a byline. We can't pay them because we can't pay ourselves. So, too bad. Can't pay you. But you get the byline and you get the notoriety of having had your ancient 20-year-old story put on YouTube as a Transformers story. And they've they're gonna be true to the story. It's gonna follow it, each one. So it's not gonna add any weird shit, or anything. No, it's gonna be exactly what you filmed. As Corrosion proved with the 4-part Corrosion story, but yeah, there was only some expansion of some of the elements of it. Pretty much was as the story was done. We went it there, especially the last 2 episodes, which were literally the script, like literally. We just didn't add anything at all. It was all in there. I think the only thing added was that when they capture the there's 2 scenes that were added to Corrosion in the final episode. The 6th one, penultimate episode, they added the Scorponok scene, the fake Scorponok scene. It was in there, but I embellished on it and made it Raksha who fights the Scorponok. I thought that would be funny. It was someone else originally, and then there was in part 7, and Rodimus does come back. That's in the script. That was actually in the script. His resurrection and the Decepticons and all that stuff. The Decepticon shift, that was in the script. Yeah. Also in the part 7, the soft reboot thing, that is in the script. Yeah, it's sort of pseudo time travel. They don't actually explicitly say, but I don't think you need to, because it's pretty obvious when it says 8 minutes earlier. Hard reboot, yeah. It's in the script. So it isn't time travel, it's that the blast blew the ship back 8 minutes in time. And so they were able to correct the horrible thing that happened to them and they lost. Because the Vector Prime intervened in the final episode and just basically, yeah, God did it. Space God did it. He stepped into the story and said, "It's not your time yet, no." Wonk, back they go. Decepticon scene with a... So it's sort of time travel. Well, the timeline is decimated. So. Yeah, and the second Galvatron scene is shot slightly different, you can kind of tell. Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, this is supposed to happen this way. It's in the script. Embellished on the prisoner scene and made it Raksha who kills the bad guy at the end. Just because basically I embellished on a scene that is in there, which is supposed to be Counterpunch that kills them. But I decided that, nah, I kind of like the idea of, just in case, I'm going to use him again, like him not being the murderer of the two bad guys, because why would he do that? I thought, no, it should be the naive, like Predacon bot that does it, because she just does it because she's, like, impulsive. She's not supposed to. She does it anyway. And she, like, yeah. So yeah, the whole Draconus Prime, like, symbolically, like, dying and resurrecting, and the whole Vector Prime thing, and the leaves the ship, and the elements of the character wanting to apparently sacrifice himself, that's in the script. That was not changed. That's in the script. It's messed up, but it's in the script. Also, I'm discussing the 7th story now, since you've probably seen it. Gotta go watch it. Well, by now, by the time you see this video, it's gonna say that. It's gonna be a while. But, yeah, it's gonna be at least a week until one of these comes out. And that's when you'll see this. Making of transitions. Just like to say something about the finale of Corrosion. I guess I could talk about that very briefly, though, because I want to do a whole thing on it later. But the post-mortem. Yeah, the bird guy, dude, Transformer, and the Sure Shot guy in the original script, they apparently disappear and then they come back and then they're injured. And then the 7th episode, the bird one dies anyway because of kind of a broken heart or something. It's implicit in the script, though, Book 7. When you see the Book 7 story, and I just watched it earlier today, it's implicit in the story that they were injured during the fight when they came back to Cybertron and the ships were fighting and everything. And she was injured again, and deathly injured, and she was going to die. Or she, I guess he changed gender to a male robot. I guess it doesn't really matter. But anyway, he died. Around the same time that Draconus Prime is going to abandon the ship and blow it up. So what's going on there is she becomes the scapegoat for the sacrifice of Prime. Draconus Prime doesn't have to die because Vector Prime intervened and said, well, yours is worthy enough, and you can go and you met the first Maximal, or one of them, and yours is worthy enough. He doesn't have to. That's what that was about. So he doesn't have to blow up his ship. He didn't have to go out with a ship. He can get in the armor and leave. That's what that was about. She's a scapegoat. Yeah. Oh, it's actually kind of messed up. But yeah, that's what's going on. So at some later date, not his time yet. Besides, kill off the main character in the show in the finale. Come on. No, don't. And that was not copying the Picard show. They gave him a new body and all that. I mean, they had Maxis Carta in there, giving him a new body. Yes, I've killed Maxis Carta in several series. He's died repeatedly. In the first Carta movie, he got smashed or something and blown up. And in the '94 Carta movie, he got burned to death as a fake god on a crucifix. Pretty dramatically as an infant, and he got melted. Which I've alluded to in the Trans-Tech series. In Trans-Tech, he got burned as well, but sort of caught on fire by laser blasts. So he sort of melted. Yeah, after destroying Optimus Prime, he got melted. And then there's, with the help of Six Shot, Megatron. Trans 2, that happened to him as well. Yeah, he got stepped on there too. One of them got ripped in half and set on fire. Wow. But in this one, not so much. In this one, Maxis Carta is basically biker hot rod and Rodimus Unicronus. He goes out and he gets killed in battle, and in this one, heroically, comes back because the Decepticon, his spark possesses Galvatron, who then rebuilds him so they can torture him. But instead of torturing him, he rebuilds him enough so that he can outsmart him. And then when he leaves, he escapes. Because, with Buzzsaw, he's captured him, and they run on the ship. The 6th episode of Corrosion. That's the latest version of it. Now, Maxis Carta will be back in the Springer story. And the other one is the Hot Rod. And this other last one that I'm looking at here, the 4th one, new episode, will feature an older version of Sport who's running around on this weird pseudo Carta planet, Quintesson planet / thing that's in that episode. So he's going to be there, but he's not going to be there for several episodes. He shows up in this one. Yeah. Because I figure he'll mature slower than the girl will. Have cyber puberty. Yeah. Cyber puberty. That joke goes back to Transformers the movie. And when I was 16, when I was watching the movie. 16, right? I made lots of jokes in that movie. Saw it a couple times in theater. And then on video, at least 20 times. Man. Too many times. And there was a scene where Rodimus Prime gets to the Matrix and he grows. And Hot Rod gets the Matrix and turns into Rodimus Prime. Arise, Rodimus Prime. And he goes... In the theater, I said, cyber puberty. And everybody's laughing. Cyber puberty. It was, though. What the hell? Why would he grow? It makes sense. But yeah, Transformers. Transformers is back. The 90s, it was really dark and angsty at the end of the thing because there wasn't anything new. 1990 and 91, the Till 1 and the Final Adventure were some of the most dark Transformer stories just because everybody was scorned and didn't do anything. And 92 was like the Generation 2 weird thing, and that was a mess because all they did was just redo with computer graphics around it. It looked really bad. It wasn't new. It wasn't. Beast Wars was yet to come out in 96. So there was this. So out of that, what was born out of all of that was all of these stories about Transformers where they were sort of in the dark times of the Transformers. That's the kind of appealing stuff because it's the dark time of the Transformers. And the idea that they were getting together in their own universe and still written way better than the Michael Bay movies. Precursors to many of the other things out there. Cybertron with an S. TF 2005 blog website. heck, tformers.com. A lot of these sites were born out of that same group. So they're actually around still now. You can look that up. Big Bad Toy Store is a little later. Pick them up. Any number of those other ones. There's other Transformer bloggers out there that were some of those original Mush guys. There's Shartimus Prime, Go the Freaking Geek, those guys. Yeah, they were all, wow, okay. Yeah, just one of them. We're one of them over here, the AdamaCon site, the Kal Kat show. It's another one of them. Yeah, so it was just like, oh, it's obvious he's going to do his stuff. Come on. Put his stuff up. The Trends Tech, it's been out since 2012, 2013. Yeah, so that stuff's up. Yeah, it's awesome. Trans Tech is a remake of Trans and Trans 2. Basically, the third one is Trans 2. In that series of 24 episodes. Space Bridge is what we put together afterward. Space Bridge. And the Robotech one afterward as well. That was very ambitious. Did show a piece of the battle for Optera in that other story. That was Tim Ennis. It's Tim Caterham. Yep. He thought of it. I filmed it. I don't think he was there when I filmed it, but I told him about it. But he was on the set of Trans 2. Trans Tech inspired the backgrounds, sets, visuals. Yeah, and the newer ones. The newer ones are more K.O. Dan, but it's later. But it's much later. But yeah, so anyway, we're just making more Transformer parody movies. Yeah, so that's it for now. This evening, I'll have to do a full thing. Read this with AdamaCon. On the making of the corrosion. Actually, it'd probably be more fun to talk about the original stuff. With the AdamaCon. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, because he didn't do corrosion. We just directed corrosion. We didn't write that story. That was Bob Powers. We didn't know him. Yeah, what. But yeah, but it's awesome. It's awesome. There's a comment on there saying you finally did it. You did it together. There's a comment on there. Final episode. Did it together. Something to that effect. Autobots Transformer rollout, or I think it says till all are one is what it says in the comments section. Till all are one. Oh. Which is the Transformers movie tagline at the end of the 86 movie. 34 years ago. Which was really controversial, that movie, because they killed Optimus Prime in it. Oh my gosh, oh! And they've done it any number of times now in the other movies. Oh yeah, Truck Monkey Prime. And yeah, not Maxis Carta. The other guy, a little bit Maxis Carta. The other guy is basically Draconus Prime. Is basically Truck Monkey, Transtech Truck Monkey. Incidentally, Transtech does sound familiar, and it should, because it's not just my fan film. Transtech. That was that failed launch they were going to do of Beast Wars car. It kind of all morphed into Car Robot, which is not Robots in Disguise. It's not the later Robots in Disguise either. It's Car Robot. Yeah, the 2000 series, Japanese 2000 series spinoff. The Truck Monkey. Fire Truck guy. Dragonus Prime. Kind of. Yeah, Fire Truck Prime. Yeah, there's a number of fan things that have leaked into that. Oh yes, incidentally, before we go, the Marvel Comics did stuff. Afterward, Hasbro did stuff. IDW did stuff. There were several runs of that. I think Dark Horse did it too. A bunch of other comic books. Some of those people were actually Furman and Buller and some of those guys that did the Beast Wars in the comics. So they were actually forwarding them. They were actually on the Mush too. So they were there too. Which made Beast Wars interesting because it was early internet. And you could actually talk to some of the people who were doing it. And what was funny is they figured out that, like, by 98 or so, that the guy they thought was Forward from Beast Wars wasn't. It was some other dude who was pretending to be him. The actual dude was somebody else. He came in there and he's all like, "Oh, it wasn't, that wasn't the guy from Beast Wars. Some guy that really thought he was. Really thought he was. Was it Bob Powers? No, it wasn't. It was a guy named Rob Jung. I think I got one of his stories. I wanted to do that one. But yeah, so there you go. That's a funny story from. Well, a lot of people pretended to be people they weren't on that blog. I mean, there was no FaceTime back then. It was all like typing on a blog. You didn't see a picture of anybody. That was weird. It was like you'd go on there and you'd go, "I'm gonna put my script up on the AOL on the website, university pages back then, or the internet." Go to like the university and put it up there. University of Philadelphia website. Okay, here's your Transformers MUSH multi-user serial hallucination or habitat. Hallucination is better. Yeah, you go in there and you type in a thing. And some of you would collaborate on a story or whatever. Do a little biopic of characters. And a bunch of those. There's a bunch of them in there. And some of them leaked into Hasbro. They've made Hasbro toys out of them. So where's the... Yeah, they're not going to pay any of them, obviously. But yeah, some of them ended up in there. Windbreaker. Yeah, that was one of... Well, Windbreaker. Yeah, this Transformer farts. So they mentioned Wave Rider and some other ones. Wave Rider and Fire Rider and whatever. Those are pretenders. Yeah, they're actually odd. There's a bunch of guys that... yeah, what's we got? Timidus and AdamaCon. There's a Timidus Prime. Jimticon. There's even a Fortress Buffkiness. He didn't write any stories though. He just added to them. It was inspiration for Morton Roadkill, basically. The Galvatron, Megatron guy. Yeah. Whereas Clint Cowpoke is clearly supposed to be inspired by kind of an inspiration of Optimus Prime, the other guy, but not really. Yeah, and Draconis Prime is Johnny Bravo. Anyway, so that's all I got to say about that for tonight. But we'll see this other stuff out there in the future of Transformers MUSH, because it's 20 years ago. What are they really gonna care? I'm gonna give them credit though. The stories, names have been altered. But yeah, I'm going to give them credit. And there's some good ones. They're really good ones. Or I wouldn't be doing it if there weren't good ones. I wouldn't be putting up there's hundreds of stories, but really only a few dozen good ones. And there's only like half a dozen really good ones. They need to be filmed. Like these three here. Yeah, there's three of them right there. After Corrosion, what did they do next? Yeah. Several universities, including British ones, mentioning the records. Ew, and it totally was okay with that. It's like Wheeljack's a wrecker, Springer's a wrecker, clearly, and Wreck-Gar's a wrecker, right? Sure, yeah, totally is. Yeah, he's like the wrecker. He's the wrecker bot. Wrecker bot is in there, but yeah, as well from Michael Bay, Wrecker bot. Yeah, he's a Kal Kat. Yeah, the wrecker truck thing. He's red. It was white in the movie, and then there was a red version of him that came out with, from Walmart exclusive or Target exclusive or something. I think he was supposed to be emulating the tow truck from Cars. Yeah, the Get Her Done truck thing, kind of. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy. But I didn't have him sound like that on purpose. No, he's not going to sound like that. Anyway, so Wrecker Bot, the other card. I suppose that they won't continue to kill off Maxis Carta. No.